Did you know that your breakfast choices might be silently draining your energy, confidence, and circulation where it matters most? If you're over 60 and finding it harder to maintain energy, struggling with weak erections, or even noticing numbness or tightness in the lower body, you might think it's just age catching up with you, but the truth might be sitting on your breakfast table. Most men don't realize that their first meal either supports blood flow to the groin and pelvic muscles, or slowly restricts it day by day. It's not about eating more or even eating less. It's about eating smart. And what if I told you that just 5 simple foods already available in most kitchens could quietly restore circulation, support hormonal balance, and improve how you feel in your body, especially down there? I'm Dr. Juliana, a men's health specialist with over 20 years of experience in urology and age-related performance issues. Over the decades, I've worked with thousands of men who came to me feeling like they were losing their edge, low energy, poor performance, and a quiet sense that something was missing. And time again, what we uncovered gave them hope, because the cause wasn't age, it wasn't irreversible, it was correctable, and breakfast was a great place to start. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful but underrated foods that you can add to your morning routine. These foods aren't strange or hard to find. They're likely already in your fridge or pantry, but when used intentionally and at the right time, they can completely shift your body's ability to fuel blood flow, restore muscle response, and bring back sensations you thought were gone forever. And don't worry, we're not talking about giving up flavor or fun. We're talking about eating the foods your body craves at this stage of life. Foods that talk directly to your circulation system, your nerves, and your hormones. Foods that work with your biology, not against it. So stick with me until the end, because I'll be sharing a specific combination that's been helping my patients feel better in less than a week. That's right, not months, not years. Just a few days of consistent, targeted nutrition can make a difference. But before we get into it, if you're serious about supporting your health naturally and staying strong and vibrant well into your 60s, 70s, and even 80s, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss another tip built just for you. And if you've ever felt like your body isn't listening to you anymore, let me know in the comments. Type 1 if you relate, and 0 if not. I read every response, and your feedback helps me build better advice that's tailored to you. Now let's dive in. The first food I want to share is often overlooked as too basic, but when eaten in the right way, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for circulation and energy in men over 60. Ingredient number 1, oats with pumpkin seeds, the circulation igniter. I want to start with a classic, oats, specifically old-fashioned rolled oats, paired with a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. If that sounds simple, good, because sometimes the most effective tools are the ones we've ignored for being too obvious. Oats are rich in a type of fiber called beta-glucan, which has been shown to reduce bad cholesterol and improve blood vessel elasticity. When your arteries are more elastic, your blood can move more freely, especially into the lower body. This means better delivery of oxygen and nutrients to your groin, pelvic muscles, and legs. And for men over 60, that's not just helpful, it's essential. Now, top those oats with a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, and you've got a morning powerhouse. Pumpkin seeds are loaded with zinc, magnesium, and omega-3s, 3 nutrients that support testosterone levels, nerve communication, and pelvic muscle strength. These are the same muscles that support erections, bladder control, and overall mobility. I had a patient named Harold, age 68. He told me he had stopped expecting much from his mornings. No energy, no drive, and no confidence. When I asked about his breakfast, it was the same answer I hear too often. Just coffee, maybe toast. I suggested a warm bowl of oats with pumpkin seeds and a touch of cinnamon every day. 10 days later, he called me in disbelief. "Doc, I didn't think food could make me feel this grounded. I feel warmer, more awake, more alive." That's not a miracle. That's biology responding to what it needs. You're not broken, you're just undernourished, and your body is waiting for the right input to fire back up. Ingredient number 2, watermelon, the natural vessel relaxer. Let's move on to a food that's often seen as just a sweet summer snack, but it holds one of the most potent natural secrets for male circulation: watermelon. What most men don't realize is that watermelon contains high levels of a powerful amino acid called L-citrulline. This compound helps the body produce more nitric oxide, which is the same molecule that opens up blood vessels and improves blood flow, especially to the pelvic region. That's the exact mechanism behind many well-known erectile dysfunction medications. But unlike pills, watermelon works with your body gently, naturally, and without side effects. When you consume watermelon, especially on an empty stomach in the morning, your body is better able to absorb the citrulline and convert it into nitric oxide. This relaxes the blood vessels, improves circulation, and helps nourish the muscles and nerves in your lower body that may have been deprived for far too long. I had a patient named Greg, age 64. He had retired early, was feeling sluggish, and said his mornings felt dull and heavy. When I asked about his meals, he said he usually skipped breakfast or grabbed a muffin. I asked him to try one simple change: add a bowl of fresh watermelon to his mornings before anything else. No supplements, no shakes, just fruit. 1 week later, he emailed me, "Doc, this sounds crazy, but I feel like something's moving again. I have more energy, and I even walked longer this morning without that pulling sensation in my legs." That's not magic. That's nitric oxide doing its job, restoring circulation, increasing oxygen delivery, and activating tissues that have been waiting for fuel. If you want to get the most from watermelon, keep it simple. Fresh, ripe slices in the morning, ideally before your main breakfast. Don't drown it in sugar or eat it as dessert. Watermelon works best when your body is ready to absorb its natural compounds. It hydrates, it fuels, and it energizes your vascular system from the inside out. Ingredient number 3, hard-boiled eggs, the muscle and hormone fuel. Now let's talk about something almost everyone already has in their kitchen: eggs. But not just any style. Hard-boiled eggs, specifically eaten in the morning, can be one of the most effective and affordable tools for male performance and strength. Eggs are nature's perfect protein source. Each one contains all 9 essential amino acids, along with vitamin B12, choline, healthy cholesterol, and vitamin D, all crucial nutrients for testosterone production, nerve function, and muscle repair. Many men over 60 are afraid of eating eggs because of old myths about cholesterol. But here's the truth: dietary cholesterol from eggs does not increase your risk of heart disease. In fact, studies have shown that eating eggs in moderation can improve your HDL, good cholesterol, and support heart and vascular health. Even more importantly, the choline found in egg yolks plays a major role in nerve communication, particularly in the pelvic floor. That's the group of muscles that supports erections, helps control urination, and stabilizes your lower body during movement. If those muscles aren't nourished properly, they begin to weaken, and many men mistake that weakness for aging when it's really just a nutrient deficiency. My patient Stephen, 70, told me he used to eat toast with jelly every morning, and then wondered why he had no energy until noon. I encouraged him to swap that for 2 hard-boiled eggs and a small glass of water. That's it. He didn't believe it would matter. 2 weeks later, he said, "Doc, I get up with more clarity. I'm not leaning on the walls anymore, and honestly, I feel sharper down there too." His testosterone didn't magically skyrocket. His body just started getting what it needed to perform at its best. So if you're skipping protein in the morning, or worse, starting your day with sugar and carbs, you're setting yourself up for slow decline. But when you start with real, nourishing food, like hard-boiled eggs, you're feeding your muscles, your hormones, and your nervous system, all before 9 a.m. Now that you've learned about 5 powerful foods, it's time to focus on what really matters: how to take action. Because information without action changes nothing. And let's be honest, most men hear advice like this, nod along, and then go right back to the same habits. But you're still here, which means something inside you is ready to change. That matters. Let's start by making it simple. You don't have to adopt all 5 foods tomorrow. You don't need to completely flip your routine overnight. Real change happens gradually, consistently, and without overwhelming your system. All I want you to do is this: pick one of these 5 foods, just one, and commit to including it in your breakfast tomorrow morning. Not next week, not when you have time, tomorrow. Start with oats and pumpkin seeds if you want stability. Pick watermelon if you're craving more energy. Choose hard-boiled eggs if your muscles feel tired. Try beetroot juice if your circulation needs a kickstart. Or add Brazil nuts if you want to support your hormones and nerve health. Any one of these can be a small step toward a stronger, more energized version of yourself. You see, most people make health changes too complicated. They jump into fad diets or buy expensive supplements. But your body doesn't need gimmicks. It needs consistency and the right raw materials. What you eat in the first hour after waking is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. That meal sets the tone for your hormones, blood flow, energy, and confidence for the entire day. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s make meaningful changes just by reclaiming their mornings. They didn't need prescriptions. They didn't need extreme routines. They just needed guidance and a willingness to try. One of my patients, age 68, told me, "I didn't expect much from a handful of pumpkin seeds and fruit, but now I get out of bed without the usual groan. And things below the belt, let's just say, my wife noticed before I did." That's what happens when you start fueling your body properly, not with sugar, not with caffeine, but with targeted, proven nutrition that works with your biology, not against it. And here's something else I want you to know. It's never too late. I don't care if you've been dealing with fatigue or poor circulation for years. Your body is still capable of healing, restoring, and responding. The process might be slow, it might be subtle at first, but it's real, and it starts with breakfast. So, what will you do tomorrow morning? Will you grab the same old toast or skip the meal altogether? Or will you take 5 minutes to eat something that speaks to your biology, that nourishes your system, and that moves you one step closer to the man you want to be? You already have the tools. You know the 5 foods. You understand the timing. Now the choice is yours. Will you take the first step? Because this isn't about food. It's about control. It's about reclaiming your mornings, your confidence, your strength, and your future. So let tomorrow morning be different. Let it be the start of something real. Not someday, not maybe. Tomorrow. Eat with purpose. Move with intention. Live like your body still matters. Because it does. And so do you. If you've made it this far, then I already know something important about you. You care. You're not just sitting back, watching time pass, and blaming age for everything that feels off in your body. You're still curious. You're still searching for better answers. And most importantly, you haven't given up on yourself. Not yet. And that matters more than you think. Because here's the truth. Most men don't lose their strength because of aging. They lose it because they stop believing that change is possible. They stop trying. They stop fueling their body with what it needs. But you don't have to be most men Today, you've learned about 5 simple, natural, and powerful breakfast foods that can help restore circulation, improve pelvic muscle strength, support hormone production, and reignite energy in areas of your body that may have felt neglected for far too long. Let's recap. Oats with pumpkin seeds provide beta-glucan fiber, magnesium, and zinc, feeding your arteries and strengthening pelvic muscles. Watermelon, rich in L-citrulline, helps generate nitric oxide, opening blood vessels and improving flow, especially below the waist. Hard-boiled eggs offer complete protein, healthy cholesterol, and choline, supporting hormones, nerves, and muscle repair. Beetroot juice acts as nature's pre-workout, enhancing circulation and restoring sensation from the inside out. Brazil nuts, tiny but mighty, deliver selenium and other essential minerals for testosterone, nerve regeneration, and vascular stability. These aren't fads, they're not magic, they're real foods that talk directly to the biological systems responsible for your strength, your energy, and your vitality. So now the question is this: what are you going to do tomorrow morning? Because this is where most men stop. They hear the advice, they understand it, maybe even get inspired, but then they keep doing the same thing they did yesterday. They grab a coffee, maybe a donut or toast, rush out the door, and then wonder why nothing's changing. But not you. You're still here, which tells me you're ready to try something different. And it doesn't need to be dramatic. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. So tomorrow morning, I want you to choose one of the 5 foods we talked about. Just one. Maybe it's a bowl of oats topped with pumpkin seeds, maybe it's 2 hard-boiled eggs, or maybe it's a glass of beetroot juice on an empty stomach. Pick one, stick to it, watch what happens. Because your first meal of the day is more than just food. It's a message to your body. It says, I'm here, I'm paying attention, I'm not giving up. And when you send that message consistently, even in something as small as your breakfast, your body responds, not overnight, not all at once, but little by little, you'll begin to notice a little more warmth in your legs, a little more energy in your walk, a little more responsiveness where you thought it was gone for good, a little more confidence in how you move, how you feel, and how you show up in the world. Hope isn't a feeling, it's a decision. If there's one thing I've learned after decades of working with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, it's this: it's never too late to feel strong again. But you have to decide. Not next week, tomorrow morning. That's when your next chapter begins. Because aging doesn't take your strength. Only giving up does. And you haven't given up. You're still here. You're still fighting. You're still asking questions. And now, you have something most men never get: a clear, simple roadmap. So when you sit down to breakfast tomorrow, remember, you're not just eating, you're choosing strength, you're choosing energy, you're choosing to stay in control of your body and your story. And the first step is right there on your plate.